in the Circuit Court of the 18th Judicial Circuit in and for Seminole County, Florida, State of Florida versus George Zimmerman. Verdict: we, the jury, find George Zimmerman not guilty.
The way it affected me is I have a nephew that's about the same age as Trayvon Martin. And so it really affected me that this man was acquitted for doing something that the police told him not to follow the young man, and he didn't listen and did it anyway. So how the jury could come back and find a not guilty verdict is a travesty to us as blacks in America. And it just lets us know that not too long ago that Michael Vick was convicted for dogfighting, and he got 2 years in jail. And this man kills a young black unarmed teenager and he gets no time in jail. That means it's time for us to make our voice heard and time for us to stand up and do something in America for not just Trayvon Martin, but for anybody who has suffered injustice due to our justice system.
My name is Krista Peterson here in ADIP Studios. The subject of today's broadcast is Charlotte's reaction to Zimmerman Martin verdict. As the gentleman stated, if Michael Vick can receive jail time for dogfighting, surely Zimmerman can receive jail time for killing an unarmed black teenager, a human being.
Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to Charlotte's Queen City. My name is Queen Thompson, and I am a native Charlottean, and I'm happy to be with you today to discuss the issues of our times.
Hey, this is Mimi for ADIP Studios at Marshall Park, reporting on Charlotte's reaction to the Zimmerman verdict.
This could go down in 2013. Back in the 60s, you would have thought that this type of thing would have passed, but it hasn't. We still, as a voice, as a people, we need to stand up, be heard, and never have this to ever happen to another family. Never.
Matthews, I was just really upset and shocked at the way the verdict came out, because the facts were there. And I mean, he really just stalked down this young kid and he killed him. And I tell you, and to have little black kids myself, that really makes me know that we have to get out here and be a voice, because if we're not a voice out here, what's going to happen to the next Trayvon Martins? You know, and hopefully the Justice Department will get involved now and something will happen, because it definitely wasn't right. It wasn't how it should have been from the beginning. They should have never let him out in the beginning. They should have done something. I mean, the guy, Americans say all day long, if he had been black, it would have been different. If he had been black, they would have had more evidence already. He would have been already serving his time. It wouldn't have been a big, long trial like this.
I'm 24 years old. Yesterday when I was watching the verdict with my girlfriend, it really my heart just dropped to see that he was found not guilty. Honestly, every day walking around as a young black male and as a photographer, like, I feel scared, like something like that could happen to me, even in the daytime. It doesn't matter, you know, just because of the color of my skin. So it really was like damaging, and I'm continuously praying for the family, and I just wanted to come out here and show my support, and I'm continuously praying about it, and I really hope it changes, because it's not a good feeling walking around and just not feeling safe, you know, even with the police and all that. Those are the ones I don't really feel safe from, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. So that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
I was at home when I heard the verdict yesterday, and it was just very sad to hear that, because it's 2013, and you would think things would have changed by now, but it hasn't. If anything, I actually feel like it's gotten worse. So I just want people to just understand that we just really need to, like, be here and be supportive and just make a change within yourself, and hopefully that will pay it forward to everyone else.
And I think it's really important that whenever we see injustice going on, we come out here and we do more. You know, yesterday I saw a lot of social media posts, and everyone was sharing their disappointment with the verdict, but I wanted to make sure that people come out here to, you know, put actions behind their words, because we can't just go on social media and say, oh, I'm upset about this, I'm upset about that, but we have to come out here and make change, because the people who are going to make the changes ourselves, so we can't ask for anything to change until we do it ourselves. So I just think that it's important to come out here, organize, fight for what we think is right for our communities and what we know we should be deserving, and just knowing that justice wasn't given with that verdict yesterday, but saying that we're not okay with it and that we're going to move forward to find a better life for everyone.
I think we're out here because we're heartbroken. We feel like the Martin family was failed last night. To us, it was cut and dry. We're not sure what those jurors saw or felt. We just hate that a 17-year-old boy doesn't have a life anymore, and his parents are heartbroken. So we just want to stand with them and in the community and show our support.
And I'm out here to support the Martin family. The trial broke our heart. The verdict broke our heart. It's a sad state in America where a child, perfectly black child, can't walk home without fear of being profiled or possibly attacked. And that's something that needs to change, and that's why we're here. Change.
And I felt like Trayvon had not got shot because he was black, and he should have had a right to speak about what had happened. And I think that the man should have been guilty of what he had done. And thank you.
I felt like the verdict was wrong. I felt heartbroken when I heard the verdict come out that he was not guilty. As a mother, it's very hard to explain that to my daughter, and now she did ask me, am I safe to walk down the street? Will somebody, look at me and think that I'm a certain way just because of the color of my skin? I feel like it's very sad. We did elect our first African-American president, and now we're still getting shot due to our color. So it seemed like we take one step forward and 20 steps back. So I'm hoping today we can bring awareness that, yes, I do think it was racial profiling, but everyone should be in on this, because justice is justice for all people, not just because of the color of their skin. That, even if Trayvon was a white boy and he got shot and he didn't have a weapon, I would feel the same way. And I hope that this would get across to everyone. Thank you.
My point of view is that I feel like since the verdict, I think we should go more than what just happened. I think this is telling us as a community we need to do more as far as gun laws. That we need to change the stand on ground law. I think we need to be out there, changing all them laws that's hurting us, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. We need to be doing more as a community, to help ourselves and stuff like that. Since all this stuff had gone, we can't be having that to our young sons, out here in the world as black people and stuff like that. It ain't about black, it's about the whole. It could be anybody's child that walk down the street, and that can happen too. And that we can't have people just gun down people just because they want to. I think we got to do something, and I just think that's why I'm down here with my son.
I'm here today, like mostly everybody else, just feeling like our kids, and just kind of feeling a bit like wondering about their future in this world, and if something like that can happen, if somebody can get found not guilty for a child that just was walking, trying to go home unarmed, it just makes me think about my kids' future. So I'm here today in support, and seeing what's going to happen behind this.
We as a family stand together, and we was looking for justice. In our eyes, justice was not served. So we're just here to support Trayvon, his family, and everything, and let our boys know that that wasn't right. So they know that they don't have to think that that's their fate. That's not right.
Yes, and I have a 17-year-old son. I'm not representing Trayvon, just like it is my own son. And my wife, she say the same thing.
Yeah, we just wanted to come out and just show our support, for the Martin family, because we feel that justice was not served with the non-guilty verdict, and something really needs to be done about that. It's sad.
The jury should have thought more about the verdict instead of just saying it. It seemed like that they wasn't sure about it, but since Trayvon's not here to say his half of the story, everybody only heard George Zimmerman's, which I guess made it in his favor then.
What I feel about this case, it's sad, but we're not done. We're out here to make this change, and like everybody's been saying, it could be me. I could just be walking out and doing what I do, just being a kid, walking and enjoying myself, and I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want it to happen to my kids or the next generation coming. So I don't feel pretty good about it, but I'm out here to make a change for it.
Maybe, like my husband said, this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe if he was found guilty, we would kind of be content with just a guilty verdict. This stimulates a consciousness, and that there needs to be a change in the laws that are here in the United States of America.
Simply, as my wife said, I said to her that, you know, if he had been found guilty, we probably would have been satisfied, but the consciousness that the non-guilty situation created is one which I think the prosecutors went after the wrong case. The young man is dead because that gentleman is responsible for the environment that created his death. And you cannot say no, he defended himself. I'll agree with that. I don't want anybody to go to jail for something that they shouldn't do, but he created an environment for a young man to find himself feeling threatened and then reacted, and now he's dead. And that we need to hold him responsible for, on top of the fact that the law needs to change. A man can't be fearful and shoot somebody else or kill somebody else. We need to stand up, not for just black people, for all people, to be free to walk. And that this is all this young man was doing. And because he was profiled for a hoodie like I'm wearing, and this is my Trayvon, I'm asking my country not to accept that. This is not right, and it's injustice. And that's why we're here.
The system made a lot of mistakes on this case, that it was wrong, that it's not fair, and it's injustice, and the system has definitely broke down, and it's a shame. It'll take all people coming together, not just the rich, not just the courts, the people that run the things. It's a serious problem that has to be addressed, and not in a manner like what we just witnessed.
Beyond it being a disgrace to the black community, the Hispanic community, but to all minorities, period, inner city kids, it's sad to say that after 43 years of quote-unquote progress from our civil rights movements, we're still getting treated like second-hand citizens. You know, it's sad to say that so many of our ancestors fought for equality and an equilibrium amongst all people, that we haven't progressed since then.
I just feel like justice was not served. A lot of things that the prosecution said, that the prosecution did not answer, did not say, in order to really get a second-degree murder or manslaughter at least. I just feel like it's sickening. It's ungrateful. I don't know. It's just I feel hurt by this. I feel that us as black people just need to stand up and fight for what's right. Right. Just fight for what's right. Even though we've been fighting for what's right for so long, like, why do we have to do this in modern day? Like, this is what Martin Luther King did. Held the poster up.
I honestly believe the issue is that after the death of Martin and we saw some type of change, we softened up and we thought the fight was over.
Right.
But yet the fight was far from over. The fight is just now beginning, and maybe this is the wake-up call that God wanted us to see and experience, to know that, you know, it's time for us college students and us soon-to-be college students to pick up mantles and start where those so many soldiers had left off. You know, I feel like the battle is still out here. Like Reverend Al Sharpton said, they may won the battle, but they haven't won the war.
Right.
And it's all about maintaining and staying strong in the battle.
In a peaceful way.
In a peaceful way. In a peaceful way, absolutely.
I just think we need to be out there and protest. I think we all need to go back as people, back to the 60s and start marching and start changing these laws that everybody's doing, you know, that's hurting us. We just need to do something.
Stunning video in court today showing a man shooting his teenage neighbor.
Tom Murray joins us live outside the courthouse to show us what happened in the courtroom today. Tom?
Mike Carroll, an incredible day for the jury in this trial of a white senior citizen accused of killing his black teenage neighbor. Today, jurors saw home surveillance video of the actual shooting. They heard from the victim's mother, and they heard from the suspect in his own words. 76-year-old John Spooner on trial for murdering his teenage neighbor. Darius Simmons was a sixth grader, 13 years old. The boy's mother watched it happen.
I asked him why he got that gun on my baby.
And where are you at when you asked Mr. Spooner why he has that gun on your baby?
I'm in the doorway.
Spooner has a home surveillance video system that captured the confrontation and shooting. Jurors saw Darius Simmons move a garbage bin from the curb. Spooner went into his house. Moments later, Spooner comes out of his house as Darius heads back toward the curb. You see Darius move backward as Spooner comes toward him with a gun. Spooner appears to point the gun toward the boy's mother, standing in her doorway. While the jury saw Spooner fire the gun, we are pausing the video just before that happened. Simmons' older brother testified about rushing to his brother.
And what were you doing as your brother's in your arms?
Talking to him.
What are you saying?
My little brother wasn't saying nothing, like talking to nobody.
And what are you saying?
I was crying. And at the same time, mad, because he's still on the corner with the gun.
Then another video. Prosecutors played Spooner's recorded interrogation. The audio is difficult to hear. We did our best to transcribe.
Did you shoot somebody with that gun? Yes, I did. Who did you shoot? I guess a 13-year-old kid. When you say you guess? That's what his mother said. Why did you shoot the gun twice today? I wanted either my shot back.
So the defense is expected to begin presenting its side tomorrow, and they are conceding that the shooting happened, but are going to try to prove that Spooner did not mean to kill his teenage neighbor. Live tonight at the Milwaukee County Courthouse, Tom Murray, today's TMJ4.
Yeah, that video is shocking. Thank you.
America ever respect the lives of blacks, the beating and killing of our black men with no remorse or recourse? This must cease. Rodney King beaten by white people, officers in California. Malik Williams shot in the back by a white police officer in New Jersey. James Craig Anderson run down and killed by an 18-year-old white male in Jacksonville, Mississippi. Sean Bell shot down in the street by New York City police officers the night before his wedding. Jordan Davis killed by a white man in Jacksonville, Florida because his music was too loud. When does it stop? When will we realize that this country has not come as far as we fool ourselves into believing? Why are you angry with the black male? In the words of Malcolm X, we did not land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. We are just trying to survive and live happy. How do I feel? I feel that the whole case was unfair and the whole verdict should have come out differently. Personally, I'm devastated that Zimmerman was innocent because I feel as though as soon as he got out the car and pursued Trayvon Martin, whether he fathered him or not, he should have been proven guilty because the police obviously told him not to do that. I'm out here for this rally because I think justice needs to be served and dealt with. It's sad that we're to this point where we all have to come out here for such a sad situation, but it's about time that we make a statement and it's really heard. It was very heartbreaking for everyone with this verdict. It was heartbreaking for me, and it also raises fear. Fear because that stand your ground law stands in North Carolina too. So at any given moment, our sons are at risk of being shot dead and someone walking free. How does the stand your ground work? Listen to this side. Ralph Ward, a 70-year-old white male, acquitted after shooting his neighbor for sleeping with his wife. He claimed he thought she was being raped. Marissa Alexander, 31-year-old black female, received 20 years for firing a warning shot in self-defense against her abusive husband, where no one was injured.
I just worry about anybody's son just walking the street. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could be going to the store. Even me, I could have went to the store and somebody could be following me. And just because I defend myself, you know, maybe somebody's attacking me, then it's okay for him to kill me. And that's not a message that we need to be sending it. You know, that's global. You know, anybody. I don't care if they Chinese, white, Puerto Rican, anybody. They go in the store, they mean to them it's okay for somebody to follow you. That's just not right. It's just not right, and I think we need to be doing something about stuff like that. Period.
Be my son and my grandson that lives in Florida. And the first thing I did last night was to call him and told him, please move. Please move. Because I do not want to be on that receiving end. Just so happened to get that type of call where they were somewhere being innocent like this child was and to be gunned down. It's not fair. Not fair.
Now, you all know Trayvon's murder and the Zimmerman case, it really has reminded me that there's something under the surface, some work that we need to do that we're not talking about directly. Now, I support wholeheartedly the work around pushing the federal case and mobilizing around local and state elections, but there's something that as a community we used to do more often, and I believe we need to commit to now. There's been a lot of talk about the ability of the defense versus the prosecution during the case, the stand your ground law and the self-defense law which Zimmerman's attorney used to get him acquitted. But we, the United States of America, are a land filled with bad laws and worse lawmakers that use prejudice often and personal interest to pass those laws that benefit certain groups at the cost of others. It's not about whether we trust the law or not, you all. It's do we know it? How many times have we seen liars get off because they had better understanding of the law than those telling the truth? With that said, we've got to teach our kids, and thus ourselves, the law. We have to know our rights and the time and place to flex them. And our babies have to have strategies to protect them in the heat of the moment that we often have not given them. When I was the National Youth Director of the NAACP, we used to have a program called The Law in You. It was a video accompanied by a training that taught our kids specifically how to deal with encounters with police. It was so effective in empowering our kids with not just what the rights of the police were, but what our kids' rights were and how to use them. It also instructed our kids on how to engage and survive an encounter with a bad cop. The ACLU used to and may still have a pocket guide that provided any citizen with similar information. We need to, in our homes, churches, and communities, organizations, train our adults and children on the laws where we live. Focus on these three areas. Number one, what law protects you when in an encounter? Zimmerman knew about stand your ground, and he acted accordingly because of what he knew. If we teach our kids to call 911 when threatened, how would this case have been different? If even not trusting the police, Trayvon would have called 911 himself, having a voice record of his fear for the court to hear. Or dispute, who could have again told Zimmerman, the 911 dispatcher could have told Zimmerman to back off because the kid he was following had called 911 and actually lived in the neighborhood. Number two, you all know the law and rights when it comes to encountering the police. It can save your life and in many cases put into accountability some police officers that don't do their job. And number three, finally, know the laws that apply to you in court. While we needed good attorneys, you got to know the law as well. There are too many times, you all, when we are in positions where the law kills us even when it's bad. But if we know the law, we have a better chance of manipulating even bad law to protect the people who deserve it most.
This is Mimi for ADIP Studios at Marshall Park, reporting on Charlotte's reaction to the Zimmerman verdict. Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin. One day we shall overcome.